Welcome to the Data Scientist Podcast with Dr. Stylianos Kabakis. Dr. Kabakis is a data scientist, statistician, and blockchain expert with a mission to educate the public about the wonderful capabilities of technologies like AI, data science, and DLTs. These technologies have the potential to transform the world, the economy, and our lives. However, there is too much misinformation around tech, and so most people are just confused about what is true and what is not. Whether you are a CEO, an entrepreneur, or just an enthusiast, the Data Scientist Podcast helps you separate reality from hype.
Hi there. I'm very happy to announce that Tokenomics auditing framework is finally out. It's been published by the Journal of the British Blockchain Association. You can find it and access it online on the website of JBBA, the Journal of the British Blockchain Association. It's open access, and I'm very proud of this work because it really culminates what I've been working on the last 2 years, which is a way to standardize tokenomics and how we approach issues in tokenomics like stress testing and weaknesses. So this framework, it includes a few different things, right? It's quite extensive. But before we get to the framework, it would be good to explain the motivation as to why I created this framework. So tokenomics has been around since 2017. And this is when Ethereum was created and enabled the creation of token economies. And since then, we've seen many advancements in this area, in DeFi, NFTs, metaverse, and all that. And it's clear that tokenomics is becoming more and more complicated. And unfortunately, this complexity in certain cases, as we saw in the recent history, it can be catastrophic. So this is what we witnessed Terra Luna crash. This is what we also witnessed with FTX. And there are many other examples of projects crashing and essentially destroying their users financially. In the mainstream financial markets, there is auditing. Okay? There are rankings, ratings, there are risk profiles, different projects, different assets. This is what I'm trying to do for tokenomics. I'm trying to get tokenomics to the next level of maturity because the future of Web3 depends upon it. And this framework essentially culminates the work that I've been doing over the last few years, where I've tried to identify which are the most important factors for a token economy and how to best identify any potential weaknesses. So this framework is based upon a series of questions which they try to assess issues such as structural weaknesses, which we can analyze using game theory, issues like Ponzinomics, weaknesses in governance, the interaction between the business model, token economy, and also stress tests. So this framework contains a series of questions to assess each one of those points. And then these questions, they can lead to a letter rating. So we can say that the project is AA or CCC or something like that. The questions, they do not always have a straightforward answer. So certain questions might require deeper analysis to figure out what's really going on. Okay, so for example, one of the questions is specifically asking for stress tests and weaknesses. And this will most likely require some form of simulation, okay, in order to identify whether a protocol really crumbles under a stress test. Other questions might require the use of game theory. However, what I'd like to think is that, at least for the majority of the questions, it's not going to take more than a couple of hours for someone to answer them. And this alone, in many cases, can be enough to identify if there are any major weaknesses in a protocol. So that being said, this is not a theoretical exercise. Okay, this is actually the first standard ever published in tokenomics auditing, and we hope that this is going to be adopted by the industry and then it's going to be improved. In the paper, me and my co-author Linus, we present 3 examples of audits. One is around Algem, which is a DeFi protocol. The second one is Ethereum version 2. But the third one, which I believe is the most significant example, is actually Terra Luna, which I believe is the case study which really demonstrates why we need tokenomics auditing in this space. So in the paper, I show how we audit Terra Luna. While we're doing a post-mortem, we are trying to get into the minds of someone who doesn't know the outcome. So we assume that the project is running and the crash hasn't happened yet. And based on that information, we give a rating to the project of BB, where BB means that the project, it's all right, but it also has certain weaknesses. Because through the questionnaire, we're able to identify there might be certain tokenomics factors at play. Maybe a stress test would identify that the protocol cannot always be assumed to work perfectly. And essentially what this means is that this score, BB, means that the protocol is alright, but it suffers from certain weaknesses that investors need to be aware of. And this was really one of the biggest mistakes of Terra Luna. It wasn't a bad protocol, but it wasn't perfect either. However, it was promoted as something which is perfect, and this essentially became its downfall. And this is what we're trying to fix with this tokenomics questionnaire. We're not saying that by using this questionnaire, this framework in the future, Web3 projects will be free of all risk. I don't think that's ever going to happen. But there are certain areas in Web3, like DeFi, where they're inherently more risky, and that's fine. Okay, there are many different types of investment and many different types of risk profiles. And anyone who's investing, they're ready to accept some kind of financial loss for some financial gain. However, this framework creates a more objective view, more objective lens through which we can judge the different projects and say, hey, this is risky, this is not risky, this is this, and this is that. And the investors, whether we're talking about retail investors or big investors, we and they can make a more informed decision. And that's like very, very, very important. So make sure to go to the website of the British Blockchain Association to learn more about this framework. You can also find the link in the description below. And if you're interested in tokenomics design or auditing, do not hesitate to reach out to me directly. As you see, it's an area I'm really at the cutting edge of this area. And besides the tokenomics auditing framework, me and my team, we're working on some other very exciting stuff like Token Lab, which is a tool for tokenomics simulations, which allows us to create very complex simulations very, very, very fast. Okay, which means that we can essentially deliver very complex designs much faster than anyone else out there. So I hope that you're going to find this useful, and I actually hope the community itself is going to find this framework useful, the questions useful, what we have to offer useful. We hope they're going to find it useful, and we do believe that this is an important stepping stone in the world of Web3, and it's going to improve the space's maturity, okay? Because this is what the space really needs. It needs more maturity. So thank you, everyone. And again, make sure to reach out to us if you're interested in tokenomics design or auditing. And yeah, we hope to hear from you soon. Thank you, and hopefully see you soon.
Thank you for listening. Make sure to visit thedatascientist.com for more content about data science, AI, and blockchain.